Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening spree training session on carbon stock mapping using Earth Engine, hosted by Asbert Consulting. My name is Bayu Haki Suherman. I'll be your host tonight. Before we dive into our exciting training, let me briefly introduce our organizing company, Asbert Consulting. Okay. Asberg Consulting was founded in 2017 and has since grown rapidly in the field of spatial data processing and analysis. Starting from basic spatial analysis training, Asberg Consulting has expanded its service to include dynamic modeling, machine learning, remote sensing, and WebGIS development. Our clients include governments, institutions, NGOs, and universities throughout Indonesia and beyond, particularly in Malaysia and Timor-Leste. Okay, this is our vision and mission. Our vision is to be a professional, best, and sustainable research support service company. And our mission is to exploring research needs that are always evolving, conduct innovative solution for research, and always be ahead in delivering this solution. This is our products. Start from data processing, training, and scientific research support. At Expert Consulting, we offer comprehensive data processing service like spatial analysis, statistical data, dynamic modeling, and WebGIS. These are conducted using various software such as Quantum GIS, ArcGIS Pro, Google Earth Engine, RStudio, Google Colab, and more. The results range from raw data to in-depth interpretation and consultation session. We also provide training programs tailored to your needs, like private class, in-house class, short class, short course, and long course. Our training comes with modules, video recording, e-certificates, and continuous support even after the training complete. Okay, the course we over cover a wide range of topics from just basic and carbon footprint assessment to machine learning and disaster management. You can explore more of this course on our website or by contacting us directly. Besides training and data processing, Asbert Consulting also offers scientific research support service, including translation, proofreading, paraphrasing, formatting, and citation management using Zotero and Mendeley. We are proud to have collaborated with clients across Indonesia, Malaysia, and Timor-Leste from university to government agencies, private institutions, and NGOs. Okay, uh, for more information, maybe you can contact the number phone or you can contact the Gmail. Okay, guys, before we begin, a quick reminder, all participants, today we'll receive a certificate. Please don't forget to fill in the certificate form. I will share into the chat box. And now, without further, I'm honored to introduce our speaker for tonight's session, Mr. Azizan.
Check, check. Okay. Yes.
Time is yours, Mr. Azizan.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Ajun Zardi from Asbiat Consulting Indonesia. I'd like to discuss about carbon stock calculation using Google Earth Engine. However, before we begin the main material, we have to have the same definition. We have to have the same understanding. We have to have the same uh, basis. What is carbon stock? And then what is carbon sequestration? And then what is carbon emission? Okay, the first one is carbon stock. The carbon stock is the carbon content stored on the soil surface or in the soil. Hairia et al. State there are three important parts of carbon reserve. The first one is living parts, or we call it as biomass, which is the mass of roots, stems, branches, and crowns of living trees. And then the dead parts, which is the necromass. This is the same as living parts, but it is already dead, like it's stumps, twigs, fallen leaves. And then we call it the underground, which is the soil, soil organic matter, or people often say soil organic carbon. However, in this training, we'd like to discuss about above ground biomass, which is just a living parts biomass, which are indicated by the vegetation. And then the carbon sequestration. This term, carbon sequestration, describes the loss of carbon dioxide, which is absorbed to the plants or vegetation and other geological formations. The absorption of carbon dioxide can be in the terrestrial and marine ecosystems. We call it a blue carbon for the marine ecosystems carbon sequestration. And then the carbon emission. Carbon emission is a result from the burn of fossil fuel combustion, or another type of industry. To illustrate and to put it simply, the carbon emission from industry, then it can be absorbed to the plants or vegetation or marine ecosystems. The process or the amount of carbon absorbed is called carbon sequestration. And then the number of carbon can be stored in the particular ecosystem, which is the terrestrial or marine ecosystem. It's called carbon stock. So today we would like to discuss about the terrestrial carbon stock using Google Earth Engine. After we have the same definition and we have the same understanding, what we'll be learning today, I have to understand the tool. The main tool is Google Earth Engine. It is a free, yeah, and legal tool from Google, which combines dataset, spatial analysis, and visualization. However, it is a challenge to use Google Earth Engine because it is code-based, or we call it is programming language. It is using JavaScript. The native language of Google Earth Engine is JavaScript. The main thing that became the challenge is we got as the case sensitive approach, which is uh, if you can see the function, it's like add, filter, focal underscore min, mosaic distance. It used to be written like that. You cannot use maybe capital letter or another symbol. If you use another symbol like at using the capital letter, it will be error, or there will be uh, or it cannot be used as a function. Yes. How do we know the function is correct or not? Later we will discuss it on the documentations of Google Earth Engine. So what can we do with the Google Earth Engine? What can we do with the Google Earth Engine is based on the functions. The first two is image and image collection. Image or image collection in Google Earth Engine is the same as raster type data, or we can call it as GeoTIFF. So anything you can do with GeoTIFF or raster, you can do it in image or image collection. One of them is bandmath. Bandmath is the calculation using bands of raster data. Like normalized difference for vegetative index, NDVI, or normalized difference water index, and NDWI, and then normalized difference build-up index, and many index more. And then the second type is feature and feature collection. It is the same as file vector polygon, and we use it as a bounds. We use it as a bounds for analysis. Yes. The feature and feature collection we set as the area of interest or region of interest to analyze. Okay. Both image and feature, image collection, feature and feature collection, it can be filtered either by bounds or distance or a date. You can have, for example, you have 2 weeks data, a year data, 2 year data. And it's up to you how many times or how many period uh, you can analyze the data. And then the reducer. Reducer is like a statistical tools in Earth Engine. However, it is basic statistical tools or non-inferential analysis, like it's only the mean, the minimum, maximum, median, and mode. Then the advanced method that we will use today is machine learning. We'll use the classification and regression trees. Later we will use classification and regression trees method to obtain how to calculate the carbon stock. And last, it's a projection. It is used to export the data at the end. If you want to use the data for another analysis, like if you want to make it a beautiful map, you can download it, and it will be in raster form. But you have to configure the scale, the coordinate reference system, and then the name, the region, and many other configuration before we can download it or export it to raster. The first step to use Google Earth Engine, it is free, but it's rather complicated to register for Google Earth Engine. You can see the steps shown in our video later, maybe, to register for Google Earth Engine. If you have registered to Earth Engine, the first step is you have to create an account name. and it will not be, and you cannot change the username. It will be the same throughout you having the username. You cannot change the username. And then after you have the username and the account, the first step is to make the, can call it repository. The repository can consist of many files. And files is the place where you put or type script or type the script to analyze the spatial data. However, there are some rules for the repository. To create a repository, you cannot use space. If you don't have a space in name of the repository, you can use the underscore or dash. And then the repository cannot start with the number. Okay. The next step is after we have the file and then the repository, the account. This is the main analysis or the main or the first step of the analysis. Just the find out the region or area of interest. There are three types of to define the region or area of interest. You can draw it, you can import the step file, or use the data from uh, global administrative unit layers, which we'll be practicing today. Okay. To calculate the carbon stock or of current BMS using the Polar engine, there are 5 driving factors. The first one is NDVI, and then or the vegetation index, and then elevation and slope, and then temperature and rainfall. To use the NDVI, we use the Sentinel-2 data. However, in some part of world, maybe in high rain region, there will always be a cloud in the Sentinel-2. So we'd like to delete the cloud to make sure and make it the NDVI is a clear data. The NDVI or Normalized Difference Vegetation Index, it shows the level of vegetation density in area ranging from -1 to 1. If it is closer to 1, then it has the higher vegetation density, or we call it as a forest. It is a very simple analysis. And then the elevation and slope. For temperature, we use the MODIS data. However, the MODIS data, we should calibrate it before we use the data. And then the rainfall, we use it daily data, but we sum it to make it as yearly rainfall data. And then we combine all driving factors and increase it with classification and regression trace to make carbon stock in ton per hectare. After we have the carbon stock in ton per hectare, we can classify it using the classification from Greenpeace. There are 5 classifications ranging from 15 tons per hectare, 25, 70, 250 and higher than 250. And then in the end, we export it to raster. Okay. Okay. We go back to the first slide, and then we try to start to use Google Earth Engine. How do we use Google Earth Engine? If we have registered to Google Earth Engine, you can go to code.earthengine.google.com. Okay. The left panel is for you to make a repository and file. And then docs or documentations is where you find out how to use the function and is what is the function means. Like if you use reducer minimum maximum, or it is written as ee.reducer dot min max. This function is used to compute the minimum and maximum of its data. To use the function, you have to return as it is, like e.reducer with capital letter, minimum, and maximum use capital letter. From the Zoom chat, our engine is not a software. It is a online tools. It is not downloadable. You can use it online. Okay, back to the material. Okay, then the assets. The function of assets, you have used you have to use it as to upload your set file or your area of interest or your region of interest. It is used as bounds of your data analysis. Okay, then you can find the data sets to use in the analysis. Like if we type, then we click enter. There are many free data that you can use in Earth Engine. Okay, then the right panel, is the left of the right panel is to inspect the layers. The layers means the below map here. Like if you click it, you have the longitude, latitude, and other properties. At the console, it is used to read your input. Like if you use the area reducer minimum maximum, the minimum and maximum of the input will be print on the console. And the method is to find out the process of uploading and downloading the data. If there is no file we have been upload or we have been download, it will be empty. All right. Okay. We begin to the slide. Is the create repository and file. Back to scripts. We can click new, and then we click repository. The rules are no space and master with letter. For example, if you use space like this, it will be error. We can use the underscores or dash. Okay. I will name it as carbon calculation 13th of May 2025. Okay, then create. Okay, then we find the repository, and this repository is empty. We have to fill it with file. Okay, new, then file. We choose the carbon calculation 13 May 2025 as a repository, and the name, we can use any name. You can use uh, numbers or anything. Let's say we name it as carbon. Okay. After we make the file, you have to click because you will not be entered to the script if you do not click the script. You can see this is new script. You should click, then it will be changed to carbon. Okay. So we go to the next step. There are three kinds of region or area of interest ways to make the region or area of interest. The first one is if you don't have any file, you can draw it. Like you can scroll it, and then you use the left panel. There is a draw a shape. You can click, and you use it to draw your area of interest. Maybe like this. You can change the color. You take this, edit layer properties. You change the color. There is no rule for the for creating the area of interest. Maybe we can aim it as area one. Then okay. Okay. What is the other way? Use the shape file. I have uploaded the link of Google Drive, and you can see there is a area example.zip. You can download it. So After we download, we get to assets, we click new. Nah, this is the important thing. You can only upload these extensions. You can have like a WinZip file, but you cannot have a WinRAR file. You can use zip, but you cannot use RAR. It is important. Then we select, we choose the example. And then nothing else is changed. Just upload it, then we click upload. Then we wait until it will be blue like this. It will only take several seconds. Okay, we wait it until this done. After this blue and has as a checklist, we go to assets, we go to the cloud assets, and then we click the refresh asset case. Then we find the other example. We click it. It's already your reference, and you can use it as a bonds or area of interest. Okay. Every type data that you upload, it will be stored as private. It's like any data in Google. It is same as in Google Engine. Every data you upload, it will be stored as private. If you want to make it public, you can click the left part and then check the anyone can read. Okay, we click the import into script. The default name for any type of assets in the type of shape file or polygon or vector, it will be table. It is the default name. You can change it to maybe area 2. Okay, and then you use a simple code. We click run. Then it will be appear. And how to make it as we can zoom to layer after we click run. We can center the object. Even if you have the map in another part of the world, if you click run, you go back to the area 2. It is the function of epicenter object. Okay. And the third one, if you don't have any data, like set file data, you can use the global administrative layers. And then we click enter. The second level, first level, country boundaries. We begin by country boundaries. It is very clear that it is only the boundary of the country. And then what is first level? It is maybe differ every country. There will be province or state, and then second level it will be city or any type of administrative function under the first level. We use the second level. You can click this. Okay. Okay, there are many properties of the data from the name of the country and then the name of the province or state and then the name of city. How do we use it? We copy this, we close, then we make an object. An object is called as var or variable as a basic of JavaScript. Yes, you can use the buffer distance. After this part, we will discuss it. And it's all the cities all around the world. For example, how do we choose one city? We can use the inspector. We click this. For example, this small city. We see it in layer 2. We get the properties and we filter it. It's called Hulu Sungai Utara. It's Indonesia. Maybe we name it as city. And how do we choose it? This country. And we'll filter it based on second administrative layers. With the content is Hulu Sungai Utara. Okay, we choose this city and then we map it. Okay, according to the questions in Zoom chat, what do you choose from the point? Okay, let's make it a new layer. We call it maybe point. There's 2 point. Then we choose the point, the marker, not the polygon. We choose it the marker. Okay, we make it as a point of 1,000 meters radius. It's in the meters. If you choose 10,000, maybe we let this first, and it will change to 10,000 buffer point like this. It's for the questions on the Zoom chat. Okay, so there will be 4 types to find out the area or region of interest. The first one is you can draw it, then you use the zip file, then you use the global administrative layers, you choose the city or the country, or you can use the point and you buffer it. Okay, so there are 5 factors. First one is NDVI. However, NDVI use must use the cloudless Sentinel-2. So we begin by using the algorithm to let the cloud of the raster to make it more clear. Okay, how do we use it? We use the level 2A surface reflectance, and it's all already auto rectified, and it's already calibrated. Use the surface reflectance. We can open it in the new tab to make it more clear. Okay, so there is a scene classification map or SCL. This SCL represents 11 past table. Would like to delete the third and then the 7, 8, and 9 and 10, which represents the cloud. How do we do it? Okay, first one is we copy this ArcEngine snippet, we name it maybe Sentinel, and then we filter it by date, maybe like a year, like first January 2024, and then the end of the year. So you can use a year, a full year, or just 2 weeks, 4 weeks. It's up to you. Use the year, month, and day format. And then you filter it by bounds or the area of interest. Maybe we choose one, like city, maybe. And then we use the cloudless algorithms. We call the SCL function, and then from the SCL bands, you choose what is considered as cloud, which is number three is the cloud shadows, clouds, low probability, medium, high, and cirrus. Cirrus. So 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then every 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10, it will be deleted and there will be no cloud. Okay, how do we visualize the Sentinel data? We name it the layer maybe Sentinel. Then we click run. Okay, so why did it not have any color? Okay, we should visualize it with the color. How do we uh, color? It is written as red, green, blue, RGB. Then we find what is the bands for red in Sentinel-2. It is the bench for, then third and second bench. So it will be bench 4, bench 3, and bench 2. Okay. So we click the custom and we change to stretch 100%. Then we apply. Okay. So this is the true color or what we can see with eyes. There are another types of coloring for the raster data. You can find the false color and then other type of coloring or visualization. This is a simple one with the true color. Okay. However, if we close, we save and we run again, the color that have been visualized, it will be automatically later. How to save it? We click this, then we go back to B4, 3, and 2. We stretch it, and then after we apply, then click import. And there will be another import. This is the image vis param or image visualization parameters. We change the blanks here, change to image vis param. Save and run. And then automatically we'll go back to Sentinel data with a true color. Okay. So we begin the first variable. Is the NDVI. How do we switch? The NDVI in Sentinel-2 or the main formula is near infrared minus red divided by the infrared add by red or for Sentinel-2 the near infrared is in 8 band and the red bands is bands 4. Okay. It is functions from documentations we can use, which is the normalized difference. The formula is first minus second divided by first add by the second bands. So if we make it as the infrared minus red and then divide by infrared and add by red, we can type it as the first one is the near infrared is in the 8 position, pin 8 position. And then the pin 4 position. Okay. Okay, how do we rate it? We can click the edit properties and then we click threads 100% is from minus zero point 0.3 to 0.8, which is a high value of vegetation index, so that it is still many large area of forest in this city. If we make it as a palette, maybe that is for the low vegetation index, then green, and then left is green. Okay, so the red one is maybe it's like a lake or water, and the green is the forest. Okay, we go to the next step, is the elevation and slope, is the NASA RTM digital elevation 13 meter, 30 meter data. It is the first one. You can click copy. We paste this and we click. It's only on the city. The slope with the AET range slope, and with the variable elevation. This. Okay. I'll have 3 out of 5 factor. And then with the, yes, you can get the recording after the training ended. And then is the temperature. We copy it. We go to the data. You can click the dataset indicator page. Okay. With the land surface temperature day with a radius of 1 kilometers. This is the pixel size of this data. However, it is impossible to have 17, 7,500 temperature in any part of the world. So the first step is we have to scale it. We have to multiply it by the scale. And then we subtract it from Kelvin to Celsius. Okay, how do we do it? Okay, first we copy this first. And then we choose the first bench. and then we choose the same bounds and same date like the Sentinel one, and then we change the value first multiply it by 0.2 and then min 0.02 and then subtract it by the number for convert from Kelvin to Celsius, and then you have the Celsius data for every date from the start, which is the 1st January of 2024, and then until the end. Okay, all right, then the rainfall data is the climate hazards one. It is the daily data. Try to make it as yearly data. So we copy it first. We choose the precipitation bands, and then we bounce on the city, and then the data is on daily data. We make it as a yearly data, so we sum every day to make it as a yearly data. Okay, so the next step is combine all driving factors. We name it as driving factors. So the first is NEVI, and then elevation, and then slope, okay. Then we list the large CD data, is the raster above ground biomass density version 2.1. We call it as AGPD. We copy this collection snippet. We use the AGPD bands are predicted above ground biomass density. Okay. After we have the traffic factors, we have to regress it with classification and regression trace. Okay. How do we do it? First, sample like a sample of the dependent variable. Use this. Let's say we use the region of the city, and then we use the other step is
Bahasa
the next
ya. Hmm?
is the scale. So is the resolution of the data, which is the data is 25 meters. Okay. Okay, scale is 100 because this is a large city. If you use it as a lower scale, there will be a longer time to compute. Then we use the classification and verification trace algorithm. Use the dot classifier smell CIRT. Okay, this the classification accuracy trace. We can use it as a regression or we can use it as classification. In this method, we use it as uh, regression.
Quando amigo no estágio.
This is the sample driving factors for the features. And we use the above ground biomass density and the input is the driving factors, which is the NDVI elevation slope, temperature rainfall. So after we configure the classification and regression trees, we can see the result. We name it as carbon slope. This on the ton per hectares carbon stock. Okay. Then we save it and then we run the script. Wait a minute. It's a typo. It's, it should be input properties. We miss the I. Okay, what's the result? We wait it. And then we click the edit layer properties. It is on ton per hectare. We stretch it to find out the minimum and maximum carbon stock in the city area. It's from 5 to 33 ton per hectare. We make it as from red maybe for the minimum, and then yellow, and then uh, green. Okay, the area with high carbon stock is on the green, and the lowest one is on the red. And between the values, it will be orange, or maybe a greenish yellow, something like that. Okay, the result of carbon stock, we can classify it using the standard from the Greenpeace. It's from under 15 tons, and then 15 to 25, 25 to 70, 70 to 250. Okay. Can call it as carbon class. First, carbon stock under 15 tons. Hectare is considered as the first class or the lowest class. Greater than equal 15 until 25, the second. Then 25 until 70 is the third class. And then 70 until 250 it's fourth class. And the highest carbon stock class, if an area has a carbon stock higher than 250 ton per hectare. It's on fifth class. Yes, at the end we'll share it on the WhatsApp group too. You can use the code anywhere. At the end I will make an example if we use in another area. Okay, save and run. The carbon class you can use anywhere. It is international basis from Greenpeace, I think. If I'm not mistaken, it's from Greenpeace, the classification. So from 1 to 5, we click stretch 100%. However, it is only uh, maybe one until the third class. So in the city, didn't have, other doesn't have, or doesn't have the fourth or the fifth class. So if we make color, the color palette, use it green and then like this. The lowest one is red, second one is the yellow, and the third one dies in this area is from 25 to 70 tons per hectare. Okay, last step is this data. We can export it and download it in the form of raster. First one, the image. The image is the data you want to download or export. Maybe the carbon class or the carbon stock. Maybe the carbon stock first. and the region is the city. With the coordinate reference system in the degree form or using ST4326, and then we name it as carbon stock. The file, the downloaded file, to be named as carbon stock, and then the maximum pixels that can be downloaded is which is the higher, the highest, highest one, uh, 1 power to 10, 10 power to 13 pixels, which is already a big one. And then the resolution is how to make the data uh, look like. If it is on a higher value, it will have a low resolution and it is done in maybe several seconds. But if it is on higher resolution with lower scale, then it will be a very big data and it will take maybe several hours. Maybe we can simplify it by maybe 100 meters resolution. Not a very good one, but it's just for an example. Then save and run. We wait until the task became yellow. We click and then run and then run. And we wait until it is blue and have a checklist like the other tasks. Okay. To share the code, you can directly use the following link. How do we use it? I'll copy it to the Zoom chat. Just go to the link and then we click and then it will have the same code. Yes, the resolution of final layers is 100 meters. It's up to you, but if you lower it the resolution or with the lower value, uh, the size will be uh, bigger and it will take several hours. But that is just for the example. Yes, you can do it until 10 meters. And it's the same. Even to do it in 30 meters, just change the scale to 13 and run again. You find the task, we wait it, we click run and run. Okay. How do we choose the or change the location or change the date? First of all, every filter date can choose whatever date you want. It will be a year full, a full year, or just 2 months, 3 weeks. It's up to you. And then the bounds is the area of interest. You can choose anywhere. Let's say we make the new one. It's like use the rectangle. Okay, make the new one. Again, we name it as new area and change every filter bounds with new area. Change every word of city to new area. It's for the if you want to change the area. For a specific single date, yes, we can use. We change the filter date. For example, if we use maybe 31st November, and then the first one, the start date is, and the end date is. So we'll get the 21st November from is 20 November to 20 November. At what point, if you make a validation, however, the good engine is only for estimation. Even to validate it, you can use the what's that called, the formula that change from the diameter of tree to a carbon stock. It's just for the validation, and it is the truth one. The real one is the ground data. Uh, okay. Okay. All the data, all the recording, and the link to the code will then be shared to the WhatsApp group. And it is the end of the lessons. And I'll give back the forum to the Mr. Bayu, the moderator. Please, Mr. Bayu. Say hello, Mr. Bayu. Hello, moderator. Yes, the training session is ended, but we wait until the moderator came to the forum. I think he has a problem with the internet connection. Just wait until 2 minutes. Okay, since there is no response from Mr. Bayu or the moderator, we will end the training. And thanks for the participation. Uh, See you soon and good evening. And all the data, recordings, and all the things for the training will be provided in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.